We are at the site for our first potential pilot project for the foundation, and this is an afforestation project, which means that we try and grow as many trees, densely populated plantations as possible within green spaces that are available in urban settings. This particular spot where we are is on the outskirts of the city of Delhi in a place called Noida, and it's a fairly standard setting where you have urban parks that have walkways where people can enjoy their evening walks. There are a little bit of green patches, and you will see shrubs or small trees which are growing along the sides. Now, the potential here is that the trees which are planted or the shrubs that are planted usually have a lot of space between them, especially along the periphery of these parks, and you can see that over here as well. Which is fine. The plants by themselves are great, but the space between them is actually wasted potential, because if you can actually use that space to grow dense plantations, you can increase the green cover in these urban parks significantly. That also leads to, of course, more production of oxygen from these trees. It also helps create a more rich, biodiverse greenery within these parks. So let's go have a closer look at the area that we have identified for growing this dense plantation, which is right along the walkway over here. At this point, it is probably a good idea to take a minute and understand the end result that we are trying to achieve, which is a multi-tier native urban forest. Usually, you would have seen that trees of a similar height are planted in parks or alongside avenues in an equidistant fashion. These are trees that are often of the same species as well. Or, you would have seen trees of differing heights which are also planted spaced out from each other. As mentioned earlier, it is the space between the trees that is wasted potential, and if used well at the time of the initial planting of saplings, can be optimized to grow denser urban forests. What we try to do while creating a multi-layer forest is plant saplings of trees of differing heights close to each other, so that they can share the same vertical space above ground without necessarily fighting each other for resources. And what this allows us to do is pack in more trees of differing heights within the same area. Eventually, we're hoping that the end result would look something like this, which is a multi-tier or multi-level forest consisting of a variety of native tree species which share the space across different vertical heights in the same area. Sometimes, this method is known as the Miyawaki method, named after the famous Japanese botanist. Now, it's important to point out that what we are doing here is not strictly the Miyawaki method, because we are working with a space that already has existing trees, some of which are non-native. We did not want to destroy the existing trees or uproot them, so we are trying to work with them and around them. So, it's not necessarily a pure Miyawaki method used here, but it employs the same techniques and principles in trying to achieve a dense urban forest. The next important step is the selection of trees, or rather the tree saplings for the afforestation project. For this, we are headed out to the local plant nursery to find and select as many species of native trees as possible. By native trees, we mean that trees that were originally found in a particular region and not brought in from another continent or a very distant country. Planting native trees, of course, not only helps preserve and maintain the continuity of that particular species of trees, but it also helps local wildlife and biodiversity like insects, microorganisms, birds, bees, animals. These can thrive a lot better as they have looked to these local trees for food and shelter for centuries. Local people, especially here in India, have learned to harness these native trees for food, medicine, raw materials, and tons of other benefits. Their continued propagation helps keep these traditions alive. In total, we're looking to plant about 200 trees and shrubs in this particular reforestation project. Ideally, we want to pick saplings that are about 2 years old and 3 to 4 feet in height, as this will cut down on the total grow time of the urban forest. Younger and smaller saplings will add more time in achieving the forest height.
नीम पीछे है, ये नीम का अपना हो गया।
After picking up the tree saplings, it was time to load them up for transport to the project site. Having selected the tree saplings, we now come to the most labor-intensive part of this project, preparing the soil. This was all done manually and is actually a very slow process. The soil is prepared first by digging up the existing dry soil up to about 2 to 3 feet in depth, and then adding manure, coco peat, and other enrichers to make the soil healthier and more conducive for supporting the initial growth of the forest. Bear in mind, this project is done on ground that has existing trees, so we have to dig and build around them and ensure their survival as well. It is, of course, a lot more simpler if you have an empty patch of land to create a forest on from scratch. With the saplings planted, now all we have to do is add some sunshine and some water and wait for the magic to happen. It's not just the trees that grew in these 2 years. It was also the biodiversity in the park. New insects, microorganisms, bees, worms, birds, and butterflies started making their appearance at the park. If you liked our work, do hit the like button and share this video. Give us a follow on our Twitter handle @vriksh_org. If you would like to grow a natural forest in your area, we can help. You can email us at vriksh.org@gmail.com or WhatsApp us at 9953432866. Till then, keep reforesting and remember, there is no plan B. There's only one Earth.